Hello, and welcome to Lit by Moonlight, where it's not a phase to be a privateer with a secret identity and a love for making the people around you want to punch you in the face.
I do it all the time.
Nods. It's so hard to not say it. It's like I have no other cheap half-assed response to things. I do it all the time. This week we're talking all things Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo.
After escaping the Shadowfold, Alina and Mal are on the run, but the Darkling quickly catches up to them, continuing his quest to take hold of Alina's power. With the help of an infamous privateer, Alina gains a second amplifier and control of the Grisha army. Despite her escape, the Darkling still has a dark hold on her, playing with her mind and making her question, should she have her power or her humanity? And which one would help her save the future of Ravka?
I'm Emberlin, and how am I supposed to think about anything else but the bees?
I'm Caitlin, and buzz, 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 buzz.
It's all about the bees, baby.
It is. It is. I can't stop thinking about the bees. Can't wait for the bees to update. Need more bees.
So many more bees.
So many more bees. And
Bzz.
if you know, you know.
Yeah, but I'm not going to explain it.
No.
Because I think it's contextually, first of all, I'm gatekeeping. And then second of all, I am gatekeeping.
I'm beekeeping.
Oh! Oh, wow.
Oh, right. We are talking about Siege and Storm. We promise we'll actually talk about the book this week. So what did you think about the world building?
I liked it. I'm trying to remember. I mean, I feel like in general with this series, it's a good series. They have really good, fun little themes of I feel like just international politics because there are all these different countries aside from Ravka, which is where Alina and her whole story is based. Mm-hmm. But then of course there's now, as we're learning, all of these not mythical creatures per se, cryptids perhaps.
Ooh.
That Alina has to capture in order to gain her true power as a sun summoner, which is very interesting. But for this particular book, I really liked the sea setting so much that I almost wish we spent more time there. I'm a biased person in that I love the ocean so much, but the whole time I just remember being I want to go to there.
I want to go to there. Yes. Yeah, reading this one, it was kind of nice because you're already familiar with the world by this point because it is the second book. But I did like that we got snippets of the world outside of Ravka with Mal and Alina over Novia Zem in the beginning, and then just more talks of Fjerda and Shuhan throughout the book and how they kind of fit politically into this world, right. Which was never something that I thought I was going to care about. But the more this series goes on, I do care about it so much more than I ever did. So it's really interesting to get more of that. And it was nice to be familiar with this world only 2 books in.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah. I feel there's not a lot of setting up that you have to do in advance because it's you can jump right into it. That's the wonderful thing about these books, you know? Was there a specific moment that hooked you about this book?
For me, it was the Siege of the Sea Whip turned escape plan that happened in chapter 4 when we find out that Sturmhond and his crew were never actually working for the Darkling. This whole scene played out like a movie in my head, and I loved it so much because even though we just met him 2 chapters ago, I already was absolutely in love with Sturmhond because how can you not be? I love him so much. And Antolia and Tamar were super interesting. So finding out they had all tricked the Darkling into thinking they were helping him only to have their own plans was so amazing. And it's just so much happens in this one chapter. You find out the twins are heartrenders. Ivan dies. Mm-hmm. Jenya stays with the Darkling. They successfully steal the Sea Whip away from the Darkling and the Shadow Monsters. And it's all just so much so soon that the first time I read this book, this was the chapter that made me keep reading all into the night that I almost had the book finished because I was time to go.
I know. I feel like you finished. I kind of remember this. I feel like you finished this whole book in one day.
Yeah, basically. I think I read the first chapter one day, and then the second through maybe chapter 20, and the next day, and then I finished it the next morning. It was a really quick read for me.
It is, yeah.
What was your hook?
For when we learn who Sturmhond actually is, I feel like, not just because of the significance it has to be now, having read, like, all of the books, because I love Nikolai Lantsov with every ounce of my being. Like, this man for me makes the book. He slays the house down boots. Like, some of his lines, like, there are times when it's like there's this forced quippiness to a point where sometimes you're like, okay, we get it, you're like really fucking cool, but I also just enjoy his character so much that I don't care. Like,
correct,
I feel like more so in the later books, I kind of like really fall in love with him, but just meeting him in this book is so special to me, and I don't know if maybe I just love that so much now, having read them all, that when I come back to it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is my favorite part. But yeah, it's so good. It's like like
Chef's
him.
kiss.
And I remember reading it for the first time and not knowing, like, oh, like, who's this guy? Who's this guy? But now it's like, oh, him. Yeah.
Well, I think it says so much to, and I know I'll talk about this more later on, but it says so much to where you get a new character in this book of full of characters that you already know and love, that sometimes I feel like with sequels is like, all right, why do I care about this person? Do I care about this person? Like, I'm kind of comfy with the people I already know at this point. But then he just immediately enters and you're just like, yeah, I like him.
Like, this guy, I trust this guy with my life. I would do anything for him. I would invite him to Antonio's quinceañera.
I don't know. And I think it's because he's quippy in the sense that it's not like, and here is a really intelligent quippy line for you to like, that's like stereotypical. It's just like he says it and everyone else around him goes ugh. That makes you go I like him for that.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just thinking about the metaphor I just used and the backstory behind it. Why would Antonio, who's clearly a 50-year-old Italian man, be having a quinceañera?
That's a really good question.
Why would I?
I didn't. It was funny. It's like I paused for a second because I was like, Antonio and quinceañera I don't think fits, but I'm just gonna keep going with it.
Huh. Anyway, no, I agree. I feel like there are times when I'm just like, this guy, but then I'm like, but I love him.
It's this guy again, affectionate.
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite quote from this book?
I have a few, and most of them, surprise, surprise, are from Nikolai or about Nikolai, because he really just has the best lines. The first, like, there really are just so many hilarious lines in this book. And I think that's what I love about Leigh's writing is like she writes like these beautiful and fantastical worlds, but also there's just like so much humor in it. And so this line comes from Alina. And she says, Sturmhond had a way of talking that made me want to shoot someone, preferably him. And I really think that just sums him up in one line, which I think is great. The second one was another one that made me laugh out loud, was from Alina saying, the Darkling just stared out into the waves. I considered shoving him over the railing. Sure, he was 100 years old, but could he swim?
But could he swim?
Like, I'm just picturing Alina being like, I wonder if this will work, and just shoving him overboard, and then he just drowns because he can't swim. It's like, oh, so it was that easy.
Wow. The book is over!
And we're done. Thank you for coming, everybody. I love anything worth doing always starts out as a bad idea. I will live by that quote. Really like it. And this one is about Nikolai from Alina when he turns, like, he loses like the disguise that he had as Sturmhond, and he turns like back into himself. She says, he looked completely different, but he was unmistakably Sturmhond, and he's handsome, I thought, with a baffling jab of resentment. I think it's so funny because Alina is like so mad, but she looks at him and she goes, oh no, he's hot.
It's so exactly one of those moments.
It's like you want to be mad. It's like, of course you're pretty. Oh, I can't stand it.
I have to like you on behalf of how hot you are. Damn it. Yeah.
It just made me laugh really hard. What were your favorite lines?
I have one, and it's just on behalf of it being like my mantra for this year, and that is anything worth doing always starts as a bad idea. Which is, I think, how every little fun thing that Caitlin and I have gotten ourselves into in our lives is like basically is summed up in that line.
I think I actually like texted you this quote when we were like, let's do a podcast, like way back in March. So
I was thinking about that. So yeah, that's my favorite.
I like it. It's just choose chaos. Do it. I dare you. It'll be fine. So what song would you slay? Well, nope.
Slay.
What song would you slay? We do playlists most of the time for the books that we read, and we have one for this one, maybe. So what song would you slay a sea whip to?
I couldn't think of one, so I originally put Ocean Man by Ween. That is the name of the band, for real. But like, you guys remember that from the end of SpongeBob the movie, like the credits? That's what I thought about. I don't know why, but it made me chuckle. I wrote that the other day when I was like out of my mind on a couple Zyrtec, and I was like, this is the funniest thing I've ever done in my life. I now know in retrospect that it's not, but I feel like that will have to be mine. I think that would have to be mine.
I like it. I like it. It makes sense. You're on the ocean.
How about you?
Mine would be Rabbit Heart by Florence and the Machine, because this is a gift and it do be coming with a price.
It's true. Wow. Everything she writes for a specific time in one's life. Like
she does,
and sometimes it's the time that you have to slay the sea whip.
Sometimes you just gotta slay the sea whip. It's okay.
Yeah,
also, like, speaking of Florence and the Machine, whenever I like hear that song now, I think of the fact that she at the concert was like, "I'm asking you to sacrifice something, preferably the person you came here with."
I know.
At the concert. So every time that comes on, I can hear her go, "Make a sacrifice. That's all we ask you for." And I'm just like, okay.
You pick me up and throw me.
Yeah, I think you did pick me up at the concert.
Oh, I think I did. I was like, I picked you up and I was like, take her!
Yeah. Because like the next thing I knew, I was just off the ground. I'm like, I guess I'm going. This is fine.
Bye!
Bye, everybody.
Just toss you.
I'd be okay with it.
I'll remember you all in therapy. We're having like a great night for like SpongeBob references.
We really are.
I'm like gonna see how many more we can throw in.
Speaking of SpongeBob references, I was watching the Giants game today and we played the Jaguars, and I need people to look up the Jaguars quarterback. I think his last name is Lawrence.
Okay.
He, to me, looks like chiseled Squidward. Like when they
I'm
like
ready. I'm looking him up right now. All right, where is he?
Like
I'm looking.
Am I wrong or am I right?
Yeah, you're right. Oh, he's got some very defined lines on his face, like.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence. And I think what didn't help was the fact that Fox Sports has like these like drawings of all the players, like when they put them up for like the stats.
Okay.
And I mean they're not just like little. I think they should be stick figures. I think it'd be really funny.
That'd be funny, yeah.
But they have like artwork for all of the players when they put up their stats sometimes. And the one for him just did not help the fact that I'm like, this man looks like a chiseled out Squidward.
He's like little Squidward.
And that's all I could think of the entire football game.
Nice job. Yeah, that literally looks like him. Yeah, he's got like. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it. There's no way to describe it, but yeah, you're right.
He has very defined features. And
Ocean Man. Nice guy. Love it. Give it up.
Great guy.
Trevor Lawrence.
Anyway, what character would you worship like they are a saint?
So obviously I feel like my bias is showing through, but Nikolai Lantsov, like, forever and ever, like, my beloved, my soulmate, light of my life, darling of my dreams, my one true god. Like,
my one true god.
He's everything to me. Also, Tolia and Tamar are everything to me as well. I just want them to be my buddies and my good time boys and my sweet cheeses, you know?
Yeah.
How
You
about
also
you?
cut out from me real quick, so I'm just agreeing
You're
to
like,
whatever
yeah,
you said. I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, just Kermit meme nod. You already know I also have to say Nikolai, Tolia, and Tamar. I love these three so fucking much. I love when characters come as like package deals, and
Yes.
those three are to me, and I just love them so much.
Yes.
And I love that, like Tolia and Tamar are like people who are, like, will stand by Nikolai to like themselves, and like I don't know. There's just something about this dynamic that I love, and it's just we die for each other, you know.
Right.
It's great.
Yes. Is there a character you would sick the Nitievo on?
Yeah, Mal isn't that bad rant from the first book and tore it to shreds. I don't know what the fuck he was on in this book. So if you listen to our episode on Shadow and Bone, I had this whole section where I'm just like, I don't get the hate for this guy. And like, I still kind of stand by that. But like this book, bro, you're not helping the points I'm trying to make for you. You were making mistakes. You were saying stuff that was batshit insane. Like, go take a nap or a walk. Like,
Or a therapist's call.
or go a therapist.
Yeah, for me it was like the same. Like I just like, this is the same issue I have with Ninth House. Is all the men in this book were so shitty. Like with the exception of Tolia. Like the Darkling obviously, obviously, because I mean like he obviously isn't like as prominent in this book to the extent that he was in the last book, but every time he'd show up I'd just be like, this guy. Like he's literally like the guy that you like accidentally invited out for drinks with your friends, and now he's just there and you don't want him there, but he's there. And he's like talking about football, and he's talking about his boat collection or whatever. I don't know what men talk about, but anyway, that's him. And you're like, oh my god, please leave. Like, I don't know. And then Mal is just like, stop it. Get some help. Like, he has no idea how to communicate, and he constantly takes it out on Alina, who clearly just like has some heavier shit going on. And every time he showed up with his bullshit, I just like had to put the book down. Like, it took me a long time to finish this book, because whenever he'd show up I'd just be like, what? I just like toss it across the room, because I was like, this guy just like, someone needs to put him in his place, man. Like, but then the king is obviously like a spooky guy, and the Apparat is a spooky guy, and Nikolai is thirsty, but he's also like the Jenny Slate to my Henry Winkler in Parks and Rec. So I can't be mad at him. Like,
I know this, and I love you.
Yeah, he could never do anything wrong in his life. Yeah. And then, so, like, everybody else can go suck eggs in hell except for, like, Tolia and maybe Nikolai. But, yeah. I was stressed. The whole book, I was like, "Wah!" Like, yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah. So, what were your peaks and valleys for this book? What was your first peak?
My first peak. I love how, and I think this is part of the reason why I was able to like just start this book and then get done with it so quickly, is that the story did not hesitate to get things started at all. Like, sometimes I feel like with sequels, the beginnings of the story can be a mix of like rehashing what happened in the last book and establishing when the main character is, as if like you didn't just read that book. And like, I guess maybe if like you're reading the book and it's been like a year before the second one comes out, but like I still like, sometimes I just want the author to assume and be like, no, I know, girl, I know what's going on. Like, like let's keep going. Yeah. But in Siege and Storm, Leigh said, nah, the Darkling finds Alina and Mal on page 16. And then the next chapter, she's on a ship with new characters, and I just felt like the book had such a strong start. And I just really appreciate, like, and there's even like a line where Alina's just like, everything was happening so quickly, and I'm like, girl, I know, tell me about it. Like, it's only chapter 3, so much has happened. So I really liked that it just did not hesitate to get things going again.
Yeah, I remember that from the first time I ever started reading the first book. The second book. I was like, I opened it up. I was like, I just finished the first book. Wait, huh? Yeah, okay. Still get my bearings. Yeah, the first time I opened up the second book, this book, which we're talking about right now, after finishing the first book, which we talked about not too long ago. There we go. Grounded again. I was like, wow, we're just getting right into this. Like, I don't know if you know, like, that trick for, like, trying to get work done where you listen to the Mario Kart songs. And it just...
oh, like the
yeah, like yeah, and you like listen to them at high speed, because that's how I get through my days these days. Is I turn that on and I'm like, wow, like for the next like 8 hours.
That's really funny.
Yeah, I recommend it. It's so good for the ADHD girls because you're just like it's like good stimming music. Anyway, that's how the beginning of this book felt. Because it was just like, we're in it! We're going! We're on
Rainbow Road right now.
Yeah. We're going there! I was like, oh, okay!
There are 30 blue shells coming at you right now!
There's a sea whip! Defeat it! For true power! It's like, and there's a prince! And he's a pirate. And I was like, whoa!
He's a pirate, but now he's a prince!
I was like, wow, okay! Yeah! Leigh, what did you snort for the first couple chapters of this book? Huh?
Yeah, because then halfway through you do in fact fall off of the course, so...
Yeah. What synthetics are you on, woman? Woo! Yeah. And that was kind of like, that kind of goes with my peak, which was like 3 great, strong characters in the very like first couple of chapters of the book. And obviously all my praise goes back to Nikolai, Toya, and Tamara again, because like they're what makes this book. I think Nikolai's character especially is so interesting because he has this very rich backstory where he's like a secret privateer, and then actually he's secretly not. He's just a prince, but then he's actually the prince, but he's also maybe like a bastard prince. Like, huh? And like you just want to. It's just like the whole time I'm just like sitting there with like my my chin propped up on my hand, like, yeah, and tell me more.
Kicking your little feet, twirling your hair.
Tell me more about that. I want to know more. Say more about that. Yeah.
If it were like the 80s and like you were on the phone with Nikolai, you'd be like twirling the cord in your hand.
Yeah, I'd like call my friends. I'd be like, hi, Nancy. Hi, Alice.
What's the story? Morning glory.
Nikolai pins me. I'm pinned.
Did you really get pinned? Did you kiss him and cry?
Yeah, I did. And I didn't put the pin on. I was really shy about it, actually. Because he doesn't know who his real dad is.
We had a therapy session that he did not ask for. Yeah, well, that goes into my second peak. I said we cannot not talk about how much we love Nikolai fucking Lansov.
Like, he's so fun.
He's such a good character, and I feel like he just really... Because, you know, by this point, I've read all of the books already. And so, like, rereading this one, like, I was just, like, reliving, like, the love I have for this character immediately upon first reading it. And this one, I'm like, I know so much more about this character now, and I get to see where it all began. And what I love about him is that he really does come with, like, such a rich backstory, and you meet him. But it's, like, it's not like you're dedicating, like, this chapter of Alina's story to talk about him and diverting from that. You're just learning it from the information that she's given, and, like, it's just so full and wonderful. Like, there's just the thought of, like, this guy has been away from his family for so long, and his family sucks, like, so bad. And I loved him, like, coming back and being like, you're doing all of this wrong, I need to fix all of your mistakes. And just like seeing him, like, he's like this really, like, you know, quick-witted guy, and he's got, like, a joke for everything, and he will never answer a question directly without, like, just, you know,
having something funny to say.
Exactly. Like, he'll never give a straight answer. But then, like, you also see him, like, as a leader with his parents and, like, his brother Vasily, however you say it, and who completely messed up, and Nikolai's just like, this is not how you do it. So it was really cool to, like, see him be serious in that way, to be like, oh no, like, this guy's all fun and games, but, like, he knows what he's doing.
Right.
And I also love that because I feel like my favorite types of characters are the ones who are, like, sunshine and funny on the outside, but secretly they're hiding something very dark and traumatic within, and then slowly you get to just pry them open and find out what they're hiding, and then you end up regretting it because then you're crying about it. You're like, oh God, who hurt you? I know now, and now I want to cry, and I'm just going to close you back up and leave you to your jokes. So And that's kind of like how Nikolai is. And I think the immediate draw to him in this book is like there's so much more about him that you want to learn, and then you get to have that. And he's just someone like when he pops up later in the books, you're just like, aha, he's back, he's here.
Yes.
He's great. He's genuinely one of the best literary characters I've read.
He's so good. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like if I was like coming into these books when I was in 7th or 8th grade, just thinking about the type of person, if you even wanted to call me that I was in 7th grade, I would have been obsessed with him, like even more so than I am now, and I would have just like fully appreciated like the place he had in my like he's amazing. He is my Fleabag character. Like he's just joking around, joshing around, but deep inside he's like having the worst time.
Like on the outside he's just like a sunshiny rainbow, and on the inside he's the Ben Affleck holding a cigarette meme.
Yeah it's not going well for him. Yeah Speaking of characters, my second peak is actually, this is funny because I thought about this more. It was originally my valley, but now it's my peak, and that's Alina. Because at first I was like, this whole book she genuinely like kind of annoyed me because she's so frustrating. Like she's I think as a literary character, she's probably one of my least favorite like female protagonists that I've read. Simply only and on behalf of Zoya Nazlansky because she exists. But also just because like Alina, it's hard for me to, she's just so self-pitying and like self-loathing and judgmental, and like, but then on the inside, but on the outside she's just like really strong and incredible commander. Like, but her, to the extent that like her verbal dialogue doesn't always match her internal narrative, because so there'd be times when I was like girl boss, and then there were times when I was like girl boss. But then I was thinking about it, and it's like, isn't that the epitome of like the pathetic female like protagonist? And like, don't I love that? And then I was like, yeah, because I do. Like, I just love a pathetic girl. I just love a girl that's pathetic. Like, I don't know why I was like I was annoyed the whole book, but at the end of the day I'm like, but no, she's pathetic, and so am I. So I love it.
She's like, just like me for real.
She's just like me for real. Yeah. So that was I just like, I don't know. I think like in terms of, in the grand scheme of literary genius, she's maybe not like my favorite female antagonist, but I also am just like, yeah, girl, you're so dumb. I love it. Keep it up.
See, that's kind of like why I liked Alina so much, because there are times where like she would say stuff I'm like, girl, same. Like the letter that she writes to, I can't remember who, but she's just like, I don't want to go to your son's birthday party because he kissed me, but I was mad that he kissed me, but then I'm not sure if he's mad that he kissed me. I don't really know what's going on right now. Alina Starkov, idiot. I was like, idiot. That's so funny.
Idiot girl. Dumb idiot girl. Yeah.
But then also she would be like frustrating in the fact that like the entire book, like she kept seeing these like visions of the Darkling, and then she just wasn't telling anybody anything.
No. I was like, girl, please speak to someone.
I was like, just talk about it.
Please speak to the Second Army psychologist. Like, hello.
She's fun and quirky like that. So she's not your valley anymore. So, but what is your valley?
Oh, good transitional statement.
Thank you.
I
also known as segues.
Oh yes. I also known as. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have another term for it. Don't have my thesaurus out
segues
today.
are things that you ride on.
I love public transportation. I don't love. One thing about me is I love public transportation. I'm like one of those idiots in like my urban planning class that's gonna like pull out a whole presentation with like a high-speed rail system on it, but like no feasible way to make that happen.
Nice.
That's who I am.
Like, this will help no one, but just know that I want it.
This will help no one because I have no. Well, honestly, I would like a high-speed rail, but I don't think we are intentional enough about that when we say that we want that. That's the thing about public transport. Anyway, this is about me now. Let's do Emberlin's urban planning corner. Can we add that to this podcast?
Yeah.
I have a whole degree in this shit, so let's add it in. Emberlin's urban planning corner, and then I like tell you all about like how Ravka would be better improved by a high-speed rail system.
We should go into like every fantasy book that we have, just like, here's how things would be fixed if they just had a high-speed railway system.
Yeah, they would have never had to journey out to like the very like the border of Ravka if they had a high-speed rail system. They wouldn't have to use horses that much. Yeah. Kaz
Silly
and the
rapper.
rest of the crows wouldn't have had to travel all the way to the ice court. They could have just taken the high-speed rail system under the water.
Under the water.
Because we have the infrastructure for that now. Don't you? Aren't y'all magic? Come on.
I know.
Petition for Leigh to do like a third series where it's like because she does a lot with like graphic and international politics, but then just add urban planning in just for me.
Just for you.
Like
Just
make that a
dedicated to
thing.
Emberlin specifically.
In the third Crows book, untitled, it's just gonna be like Kaz and the others building a high-speed rail system. Building like a trolley line through the streets of,
They have a trolley problem.
the ultimate trolley problem.
And that's that they don't have trolleys, so they have to fix it.
Yeah. Anyway, my valleys. So I don't know, like, I don't love the pacing of this book because, like, the first couple chapters, right, you're like, zoom, zoom, and then once you get to the middle with, like, the little palace, it just, like, took me so long to get through it, like, the first time, because it kind of slows down there, and that's fine, but then, like, after that, the only thing that kept me moving along, at least this time around, was listening to the audiobook, because, like, after the zoom, zoom part, I'm just kind of, like, stagnating at the little palace, like, hating Mal, like, walking around, like, seeing the Darkling in places and wondering why he's there, but not telling anybody about it.
I know.
So there were a couple times when I was just like, wah. But I feel like other than that, I don't know. Like, this book, it's really good. It like, starts fast. You, like, where it ends is kind of, like, a fun, flirty place that made me jump right into the third book when I first read it. But yeah, I don't know, like, it's definitely not my favorite. I think my value overall is just probably not, like, it's probably, of the three books, probably not my favorite.
Yeah.
But that just means I have, like, a million bajillion, like, wonderful things to say about Rune and Rising. So,
Yes.
how about you?
My valley was Men Leave Alina Alone challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all three of her potential love interests in this book all wanted her for either their own agendas or in a way where she wasn't completely herself. Obviously, the Darkling is manipulative and abusive and controlling and a walking red flag. That's wearing black, so it's really hard to decipher sometimes. Even though it's not, because he immediately in this book was like, I want your power.
My intentions are fully bad.
Are fully bad. I don't understand why you don't get it, but whatever. I am the drama, and I want you to join me.
Yeah.
But, you know, he wants his own her power for his own doing. And then you have Nikolai, light of my life, who suggested that she be with him for, like, the sake of Ravka. And people are yelling at me right now. It's like, maybe there's more to that. Listen, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But, like, he genuinely, like, he was just like, propose?
Yeah, he's like,
be my queen?
my wife.
Because it'll work out
My
for the country, please? So Nikolai had his own, you know, his own narrative to fulfill. He has his reasons, but still, it's just like, she can be more than that. And she's still trying to figure out what's going on. And then Mal still cannot come to grips with the fact that Alina is a summoner and may actually want that life a little bit more now than the life that he knew her as, or a life on the run and feeling weak all the time. And also learn to communicate for the love of God. Like, Alina does too, but, like, Mal, oh my God. Like, his whole thing, like, I understand that it's a lot to be thrown into, like, this Grisha universe, and your best friend who wasn't a Grisha growing up, even though, well, she didn't know that she was a Grisha growing up, is now completely different. Like, I get it, but also deal with it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Stop it.
please
Get some
stop.
help.
Stop. Get
Yeah.
some help.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the entire, like, he kissed Zoya, and I'm so pissed at him for that. like, for why?
Yeah, that makes me angry. When I think about that, it makes me angry.
Yeah.
Unseemly angry.
So, yeah, just all, like, again, all the men except for Tolia.
Yeah, Talia can do no wrong, babe. Man can do no wrong.
I love him.
The second season of Shadow and Bone is coming out on Netflix next year, which is, like, crazy. And we kind of left things, for those of you who haven't watched the series, kind of in the same place that the first book ends naturally. So, do you have any ideas, Caitlin, about how season 2 is going to go, considering they have that Crow storyline mixed into this series?
I don't know what they're gonna do. As long as the crows get to start doing their own plot. And I see Nikolai have a fantastic intro, and Tolia and Tamar be the badass that they are. I have no idea. Although, I genuinely do think that I think they'll easily be able to do a lot of Siege and Storm storyline, because the first season very closely followed, like, even though they did change a lot, they still were able to follow the first book's story pretty seamlessly. And I think that this will do the same thing. I just think that if it'll be done best if the crows aren't completely mixed in with the Shadow and Bone storyline, because it was fine how they did it in the first season. They got to do a little heist. It kind of worked out that way. I'm okay with that. But I need the crows to have their own, and I know we're talking about a completely different book right now with these characters, but I'm just assuming that if you're here, you know what I'm talking about. I think the crows should be completely separate from the Shadow and Bone storyline for season 2. I think we need to, with them, get their backstories. We'll get more of that, and then maybe start, because in a perfect world, they'll maybe start getting to the point where they're going to do their heist that they do, and then maybe get to Hellgate. I'm trying not to spoil it just in case there's people who are like, oh no, don't do that. But like, I think they could maybe get to Hellgate, and maybe we'll get some backstory, start maybe the plans for their heist, but then they don't get to do it yet, and then we get the announcement that they have their own show, and that's where they get to do the whole escort heist thing. Like, that's my dream. I need, because I need their story to be played out, but I don't want anything else taking away from it.
Yeah.
You know?
I
don't, because you can't do their storyline and Shadow and Bone at the same time. So I'm so nervous for how they're going to do that. But I think truly where maybe the Siege and Storm plot gets a little stagnant, like it did in the book, like with at Ravka and at the Little Palace, that's where they're gonna flash back to the crows, and that's where they're gonna start fleshing out some of their characters and getting more into, hopefully, their storyline. I don't know. I'm so nervous for the crows specifically, because I don't want them to be messed up, and I thought they did fine in the first season. So I want the ice court heist.
I do too. Like, so bad.
Like, bad.
That's truly what I care about. Like, for me, it's kind of the same thing where it's like, I'm really excited for Nikolai's introduction. Like, I just am ready for that. Like, I've been ready for that. He's so essential, I feel like, to the storytelling of, like, the Grishaverse. But at the same time, I really only give a shit about the crows at the end of the day. Like, and which is like, again, I don't want to give too much away on that front, but do read those books and do like engage yourself deeply in that specific duology, because it's so good. So I'm in the same boat as you. I love it. It's like their own individual, like, original show.
I think it's fun. I genuinely do.
I really I feel like because of the lull in Siege and Storm, I'm hoping we'll be able to like use most of this season to really dig into the Crows storyline, and I'm like, that is what I want. I call it their B plot in the notes, but it's not their B plot. It's like their A. That's the A plot for me. I'm here for that.
No, listen. When I watched season 1 of Shadow and Bone, I'm like, I loved seeing everything come to life, but most importantly, every time the crows were on screen, I was there. I was in it. I was here.
What I'm here for.
This is genuinely what I'm here for, because who isn't? Like, I love them so much, and that's why I'm just so nervous for the next season, because I'm like, I want them to have their own show so they can just do their own thing.
They can just do their own thing. Yes. I want them. That's what I want.
I want them.
I just want them. Yeah.
I saw a GIF set on Tumblr earlier of Kat and Inej, and I was like, oh my god, I'll do anything to have them back, please.
Yes, just give me them. Yes. I would have done anything for like a movie, for like if I was, I mean, I agree. I love seeing everything come to life, but I would do anything just to have them back again. That sounds like a song lyric. I'm going to write a song about that. The angst I feel, the pining I feel for them.
Oh my god. But like the casting was done so well. And I think what made me be like, all I care about are the crows in the show as well as in the books, is the fact that the casting for the crows characters specifically are so on point for the most part. And I'm just like, yep, this is great. Also, have you seen the teaser that came out for season 2?
I haven't.
I think you should watch it now.
I know I'm putting it off. I'm afraid. Okay. All right. I'm like afraid to watch it, but I'm glad I waited until now. I've literally been avoiding this. I'm so scared. It's been a month. I kept telling myself, I'm gonna watch it, but then I was like, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm afraid. I don't want to know. Okay.
We'll get your live audio reaction to it.
Live slug reaction.
Live slug reaction
from your girl. Okay. Whoop, we're in it. Oh, oh. Oh. I'll sacrifice anything for you, Ben Barnes. Oh. Why did I avoid this for so long?
It was literally 30 seconds.
30 seconds of my life I'll never get back. Thanks a lot. Oh my god. I'm scared. I'm ready though.
But like it's so nice to just see a little bit of Nikolai and a little bit of Toya and a little bit of Tamar. A little bit of Nikolai in my life.
Not also Mal and Alina like kissing.
I know.
Yes.
I'm not. So the first time I watched this when it first came out, because everything is so quick and it's literally nothing is really revealed other than look, here they are in the teaser. But the first time I saw that clip of Mal and Alina kissing, just the way the sunlight is in that, it looked like the haircut of Toya. So I was like, what are they doing?
Hell yeah.
I was like, how are they getting this so wrong and how are they showing it to us? But then I watched it again. I was like, oh no, it's Mel. We're fine.
That's so funny. Okay. Can you imagine? They were like, let's change things up a little bit.
Yeah. We're going to take the one character with literally no romantic interest and make him kiss the lead.
That would be so cool and fun. We love creativity. I love it. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm excited now. I just like, it's so beautiful. Ben Barnes, as always. Like, I've never cared about the Darkling more than Ben Barnes as like being casted as the Darkling made me care about the Darkling. So
it is so correct.
I'm here for her.
When I talk crap about the Darkling in the books, know that when I watch the show and I see Ben Barnes, sometimes I go, maybe he's got a point.
Yeah. But you're also like, not I'm like I hate this bitch, but then it's like a meme that's like a picture of Ben Barnes and it's like not him with like a little like,
not him
little X over it. Yeah. I don't know, I'll have to make that graphic. That's coming out this week in preparation for this episode.
There you go.
So Caitlin, on a scale of 1 to 5 times Nikolai corrects someone when they say impossible, how do you rate Siege in the Storm?
I gave it a 3. I still enjoyed it, but it's definitely, like you said, the weaker book of the trilogy. What really kept me going throughout was the characters, but I do agree that the plot got a little meh towards the middle. And I think this book wouldn't have worked as well as it did for me if Nikolai wasn't there.
No, yeah. Oh, fully agree. Yes.
Yeah. What about you?
Same here. I think this is a 3 for me as well. It's not my favorite of Leigh's, but I don't hate it, and I agree with everything you said. So.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Can't wait for season 2 of Shadow and Bone.
Can't wait for season 2, Shadow and Bone. Maybe we'll release we'll podcast about it.
You say maybe.
Well, maybe is a way of affirming that we have some secrecy that we're maintaining.
Wink, wink.
In our business model.
Wink, wink.
Thank you for listening to Lit by Moonlight. Tune in next time when we torture ourselves with the wicked.
Yeah. Guess what we're reading next week, baby?
By Holly Black.
The Wicked King. We're both super, super excited about it.
When I
anything
when
but
I looked
positive
at my agenda to see what we were reading next, and it was this, I literally slammed my head down on the desk and probably concussed myself. Like, this is...
I've been putting it off for so long, I don't want to.
Okay, great!
All right, see you next week when we remember that Cardin has a tail.
You may not see me next week on that front. I'll be gone. I'm resigned.
Next week's episode is just 40 minutes of silence.
Oh, yeah. That would be a statement.
This is what we thought about. Oh, I'm scared, Mommy.
Me too.
Bye.